The supplement industry is a $50 billion business built on your confusion. They say more is better, buy this, stack that. And meanwhile, you're spending a small fortune and you're still feeling exhausted. Today, we're cutting all of that out. We're going to talk about 5 supplements, and that's it. I call it the foundational 5. I got an email from a listener named Jamie a few weeks ago, and she said, supplements are a huge, confusing topic. And so I emailed her back to tell her I was recording this today, and she wrote back with a little bit more. Your guide really helped me narrow it down to the essentials. But I can only imagine that so many are also so confused and over supplementing. It's so easy to do. When we're in midlife, we're dealing with stuff like thinning hair and joint pain and the hardest time losing weight, and like weight in your midsection that's never been there before. So that's exactly what happens. And yes, that's why I'm doing this episode. Because you can walk down any health food store or any aisle in Target or Kroger, and you're going to see an entire wall of stuff. Collagens, adaptogens, probiotics, maybe it's hormone support, or anti-aging blends, basically magic potions. I'm just kidding about the magic potions, but truly it's overwhelming, and most of it you don't really need. So today I'm cutting through all of that noise, and we're going to talk about the 5 foundational supplements. All of them have been chosen to be on this list because they directly address what we are dealing with in midlife, including thinning hair and joint pain and stubborn weight and all the midsection changes. So I put all 5 of these in a free guide, which you can grab right now. The link is in the show notes. It's called the Foundational 5. Okay, so let's get into this. Here's the thing about supplements in midlife. Your body needs have shifted now. Not because something is wrong or you're broken or any of that. It's because your hormone landscape has changed, meaning you have changed. Estrogen has dropped, progesterone has dropped, and those little shifts comes with big changes on how your body absorbs nutrients, manages inflammation, which is the root of all disease, how you build muscle, and even if you're sleeping. You can be eating really well and still have gaps in your nutrition. That's not a failure. It's just our biology at this stage of life. So the question isn't, do I need supplements? The question is, which ones actually fill the gap that midlife creates? That's what we're going to talk about. And the answer is not 47 bottles. Oh no, it's just 5. So here's my rule. They have to be multitaskers. Each one has to do more than one job because that's how you build a simple, sustainable routine. Not a part-time job taking all your vitamins. So let's go through these. Number 1, we're going to start with D3 with K2. So it's one pill, D3 with K2. Most women are low on vitamin D. In fact, I don't think I've seen a set of labs where someone wasn't on the low end, especially if you live somewhere cloudy or you wear sunscreen or you spend most of your time indoors. And in midlife, that low D shows up as maybe fatigue, crummy mood, weakened immune system, and bone loss. So here's something I actually want you to do. I want you to ask your doctor to test your vitamin D at your next lab. It's a simple blood test. You're looking for a test called 25-hydroxy vitamin D. Most conventional labs mark anything above 30 as quote unquote normal. But as a functional health coach, I'm looking for optimal. Optimal is anywhere from 50 to 80. And there's a big difference between not deficient and actually thriving. A lot of women are walking around in the low 20s and the 30s, and they're wondering why they're tired, and they're catching every single bug that goes around. So here's what most people miss. D3 and K2 work together as a team. D3 helps your body absorb the calcium, and K2 makes sure the calcium actually goes into your bones, not into your arteries. Bone support and cardiovascular protection. That's a multitasker. And here's the thing I personally love. The second I feel something coming on, like a scratchy throat or that weird feeling, you're just like not that normal tired, I double up on my D3K2. And I'm not kidding. It's like, boom, gone. Now, here, I'm not making any medical claims here, but my immune system response when my D is optimized is completely different when it's not. And it's one of the reasons I don't skip this one. So again, if I feel it, I have weird symptoms, I'll double my D while I have the symptoms and it's gone. I love taking it in the morning. I think of it as sunshine in the bottle. So take it with food in the morning that has fat, like eggs or avocado or Greek yogurt, because fat is going to help your body absorb it. Okay, number two, omega 3s. This is a personal favorite of mine. And believe it or not, I notice it when I take them and I notice it when I don't. I love being an experiment of one, and sometimes I'll take a week off and I'm like, yeah, I notice a difference. My skin gets drier without them. I feel more achy. And I'm not talking about a subtle difference. I mean, I actually can feel it. And just like the D3, there's a lab test for this one. Ask your doctor to run an omega 6 to omega 3 ratio. The lower the ratio, the better. Omega 6 is all the inflammatory oils, seed oils that you hear about. The lower the ratio, the less inflammation there is in your body. And that means there's a lower risk of heart disease. Your brain's going to work better. Your mood's going to be better. So for optimal ranges, it's 2-to-1 or up to 4-to-1. Most Americans are running to like 15 or 20-to-1, which tells you a lot about inflammation and why inflammation is such a problem in America and especially in midlife. You can also ask them to measure your DHA and EPA specifically. Those are two fatty acids that make up your total omega 3, and knowing those numbers gives you a real starting point. When you're looking at your omega 3 supplement, I like to have EPA and DHA 1,000 milligrams a day. So for me, that means I have to take 3 of my omega 3s in order to get close to that ratio. So let me tell you a story about last weekend. My friends and I hiked the Old Rag Mountain in Shenandoah National Park. And if you don't know this trail, the Old Rag is a very strenuous hike. And the last mile to the summit is full rock scramble. I mean, over, around, under, through these humongous boulders. And we were using our hands and our feet. You were wedging yourself through these croc crevices, and then you were jumping. And it was the most technical, difficult climb I've ever done in my life. And at the end of 11 miles, I'm feeling okay. I was surrounded by my omega 3s. I took them before, I took them during, and I certainly took them after. And you know what? I'm really not that sore today. And for a hike that hard and that physical, that's not nothing. Now, I also did the menopause minis to train for it. So that prep mattered. You know, I made sure my legs and my arms were strong. But in general, my joints feel good and my recovery is way faster than I thought it should be. And I'm giving a lot of that credit for keeping up with my omega 3s consistent. Omega 3s reduce inflammation in your body. They help support your brain health, your heart health, skin hydration, your mood stability, all of that. So if you're dealing with like brain fog, dry skin, achy joints, mood swings, this is the one I want you to add into your regimen. Quick tip. If fish oil burps are an issue for you, store that bottle in the refrigerator and take them with meals. Total game changer. Number 3, a good quality multivitamin. I know you've probably had multivitamins think are a waste of money. Like, how in the world can they jam everything into that little thing? And the cheap ones, yeah, they're probably a waste of money. But here's what a good multi does in midlife. It fills those little tiny gaps, like your B vitamins for energy or your Z and your selenium for your immune function. The B vitamins are especially important here because they get depleted by stress. And most of us in midlife are running on empty in that department. The key word here is quality, not the gummy bears from the checkout line. I'm talking about professional grade multivitamin without all the junk. Stack it with something you already do, like your breakfast, and then it becomes automatic. Number 4, magnesium glycinate. This is an unsung hero of midlife wellness. And honestly, it was one of the first supplements I added after my hysterectomy 7.5 years ago. When your hormones shift, whether you go through menopause or you're in perimenopause or surgical menopause like I did, your nervous system feels it and your sleep changes. And that's where I started on my health journey when I had my surgery. That tension in your body shows up differently. Your body is recalibrating to everything. And magnesium is one of the first things that helped me feel like my body was starting to be okay again. Magnesium supports over 300 processes in your body, like sleep and muscle recovery and hormone balance and nervous system regulation. Most women don't get enough of it through their food. And I was thinking about that. Have you ever had a homegrown tomato versus one from the grocery store? Can you taste the difference? Magnesium is one of those things because of our soil quality and how our food is grown. There's a difference in a homegrown tomato versus a store bought tomato, for example. Glycinate in general is the kind of form that is specifically crosses the blood-brain barrier, and it is very effective. It is bioavailable and your body knows how to use it. In general, there's a ton of magnesiums on the market. There's magnesium citrate, malate, glycinate. It just goes on and on. Magnesium is always connected to something else. And depending on what it's connected to, tells you how it's going to help you the most. Magnesium glycinate is very bioavailable and it's like a good multitasker, all around good magnesium. It actually calms your nervous system, not just your muscles. So if you're waking up at 2 a.m. and you can't get back to sleep, start here with magnesium glycinate. Now, it's not going to feel like, caffeine, like it jolts you awake. So it's not going to make you fall asleep. It won't kick in dramatically, but give it a couple weeks, 2 to 4 weeks, pay attention. You're going to notice your energy shift. Your sleep's going to get better. And that body tension started to notice is just going to kind of ease. It's going to be like the magnificent magnesium calmness. It's kind of like the backstage crew. No one really sees it working, but nothing runs well without it. Okay, number 5, I added this one recently, creatine. Yeah, I said creatine. Creatine is not just for bodybuilders. Creatine has become one of the most talked about supplements for women over 40, and it's for a good reason. It's not just for the guys. The research on it is so strong, and it keeps growing. It is super affordable, and it's so easy to use. Here's what I personally notice when I use it. My workouts have more gas in the tank. That feeling of hitting the wall midway through, it just happens less. My energy overall, not just in the gym, but in life, feels more steady and more available. And that's really important. And let's add in the brain thing. This one really surprised me. There is a noticeable difference in how clearly I think when I'm consistent with my creatine. I'm not wired or caffeinated, not that wired and jittery kind. It's more like the brain fog just kind of lifts. I feel sharper and faster and more present. And the research totally backs this up. Creatine supports cellular energy in the brain, not just in the muscles. And in midlife, when brain fog's a real thing, yeah, that matters. So here's what it does. It helps your cells store and use more energy efficiently. So you have faster muscle recovery, you have stronger workouts over time, your brain is working better, you have more focus. And it helps you preserve that lean muscle as we age, which is really, really important. And it's something we can do for our long-term health. If you have more energy, you're going to want to work out. Makes sense, right? Super easy. It's 5 grams a day. It's an unflavored powder. You just throw it in a morning smoothie or your coffee and you won't even taste it. You do it every day, not just on workout days. So 5 grams every single day. So here's the stack. D3K2, omega-3s, a good multivitamin, magnesium glycinate, and creatine. Those 5 supplements are huge multitaskers. You don't need a shelf full of bottles. But I want to say one more thing before you go. Supplements are supplemental. They do not replace your sleep or your movement or replace real food. But when you're already doing the best with those things, these 5 things can help your body catch up and fill in the gaps that midlife creates. They're like small little allies working quietly in the background while you do the work. So start there, give your body 2 to 4 weeks, and you can always layer in more if needed. So I put these 5 in a free guide with my specific product recommendations. These are practitioner grade products through my Nutridyne professional link. And also you get 20% off if you choose to buy any. There's no code needed. So grab the guide in the links. And if this episode cut through the confusion and the noise, please share it with a friend. Jamie asked the question, and I know she's probably not the only one. One more thing before I go. These 5 are the foundational starting point for everyone. But here's the truth. Every woman's body is different. Your labs are different. Your history is different. Your goals are different. And sometimes your labs are saying something very specific that a general list of general supplements can't address. So here's my example. Maybe your homocysteine comes back and it's above 7. That's an indicator that your body needs some extra support. It needs specifically magnesium and methylated B vitamins in addition to the foundational five. That's not something you'd know from a quiz or a supplement shelf. That's something you only find in your lab work. So for me personally, I'm working on lowering my homocysteine and I'm working on finding a methylated B that works for my body. Another one of my goals is I'm working on methylizing my estrogen. So I take an additional herb to support that based on the Dutch hormone tests. That's it on the top five. But one on one health coaching looks like I review your labs and we talk about where you want to go, and I can make specific recommendations based on you, not a generic list. Certainly not a quiz, but based on you. If that sounds like something you're ready for, there's a link to work with me in the show notes. If you have any follow up questions about supplements, drop them in the comments, and I will see you next week.